Now, don't forget to turn off your live button, so your object goes out of live mode. Click on that, and you have your object out of live mode. Okay, then you have the object you just made through your quad draw. All right, look at all the processes that we've gone through. Now we could delete all of this and see other tools. Definitely, there are more tools to Maya than what you just see here. All right, we have many other tools in other places. For instance, we have some tools under edit mesh. We have some tools under mesh. We have some also under mesh tools. All right, let's see some of these and how they work. I'm going to make a plane, my viewport. I'm going to raise the plane up and give the plane some subdivision in height and width. Right now, let's see one of these. Let's see. We've seen some of them before. We've seen division. We've seen bevel. We've seen build. We've seen connect. We've seen detach. Okay, there are some we've not seen, like collapse, circularize, and detach, and so on. So let's look at detach. If I click my plane and select a face here, okay, I want to detach this face. In essence, I want to detach where it joins with these other objects, with these other faces rather. All right. If I click on this and go down to edit mesh and hit detach, it seems like nothing happens, but something did happen. First of all, we see that the input here, we have one more node here called poly split edge. That means an operation has been done on this. How do we know? Now let's go down to the edges. If I click on edge and move up, you see that I've broken the combination of those two edges. All right. If I even hit vertex and click this, you see I have this. In essence, the initial face I picked before has been detached from the entire object. So I have this. All right. This can work similarly to the way we have extract a face. All right. So if I have this, don't forget that to weld them back, you can either use the weld tool or you could just combine them together. In production, it is not really good to have two vertices on themselves, because that will affect rigging, might even affect skinning. You might be seeing one vertex, but definitely there are two there. Right? How to know this? If you are on wireframe mode and you region select, you see that under your modeling toolkit, you see that you have two vertices selected. All right, why your viewport you are just seeing one. Always check for this. All right, in case you pick 4 from your view and you're seeing 8, it means there are more than one. Most likely there's a face on another face. All right, so always watch out for these things. Now, how we can do or combine them back is, if we have two vertices here, there's another tool we have in Maya, which is this, which is the merge tool. We hit this and that will merge those two vertices into one. Notice that here we now have one vertex selected. Right, this tool here is also part of what we have in some of the places here. Right, we have the merge tool. Now, how does it work? Let's undo all that. Let's look for another one here. Let's pick vertex and let's separate these two things. We have this and this. All right, if I select these two vertices and go down to here, merge, okay, to merge based on the distance between the two vertices. Let's make that elaborate. Let's move this all the way down here. Have this vertex and this vertex, pick the two of them and hit merge. Right, if I pull all the way down, they shouldn't merge if they are too far away from themselves. Okay, so in essence, that merge tool will combine them together based on the threshold or the distance separating the two of them. So definitely that merge function is also here, the merge. All right, so that's merge. Now the next one here is merge to center. So let's say we have these 4 vertices selected and we go down to edit and hit merge to center. To boil the 4 vertices, merge them to the center of the 4. All right, if I undo, you see these 4 selected, the center should be around here. If I go back to redo, to merge them to be at the center. That's the function of merge to center. Okay, now let's undo that and check other options we have here. We have collapse. Collapse could work with faces. If I hit collapse here, we have an error. Polygon edges or faces were interested not to collapse. And basically, it doesn't work on vertices. Let's say if I click a face, I can now use this function called collapse, and basically do the work of merge to center, but merge to center works more on vertices while collapse works more on faces, right? So we have this here. Let's undo that. Now let's see Circularize. Circularize is a new tool, I think in March 2020. Older Maya versions don't have Circularize. If I have a plane, let's make a plane here. Okay, let's subdivide our plane to how many faces. This is a four-cornered object, a plane. All right, Circularize, we turn this to a circle. Yes, that's the hotkey here. Circularize, not here. Circularize, or do it from here. All right, we have this. So in essence, the outer edges of these have changed from four-cornered to circle. All right, this is circularized. This could be useful, especially when we want to convert the shape of the outer edge of something into from one form to the other, either from four edges to the circular part. All right, we have that as circularize. Then moving on, we have flip. You could flip an object if you have let's extrude this. Let's see other ones first before we go down to flip, so it makes sense to us. We have duplicate. Okay, we have extract. Okay, more like how I have detach. Extract works that same way. You have this face selected, and I go down to edit mesh and hit extract. Okay, that will basically remove that face from the entire object, and it won't keep it together with it, unlike detach. If I select object mode, I have two objects here. I have this and I have this. All right, this is the work of extract, not detach. All right, detach, you still leave the object together with this one, even though the edges are not welded together, but extract will separate that as a different object, though the two of them might still be in the same group because they might share the same history. Right, but once we unparent them with Shift P and clear out the history, we have this object as one and this one as a separate object. Now let's see more. Let's create back our plane and subdivide it again. Let's go down to edit mesh. Let's see, we have duplicate. Okay, in essence, if I don't want to detach the face, I just want the copy of that face. Let's say I have a face here, I want a copy of this, and I don't want to have a hole like I have here. I could go down to edit mesh and use this duplicate here. So this will make a duplicate of this face. Okay, I can move that up. Okay, or I could just leave that the way it is and go down to object mode. Definitely, I have two faces here. All right, if I select my key drag, you see I have two objects selected because that face is still there. So in essence, if because they are too close to themselves, I can't pick one. All right, so that's it there. So that's the extra face I've duplicated from that face selection. In essence, I duplicated a face to get an object. Now let's move on again. Let's see one more before we wrap up. Let's see poke. Okay, poke will basically take the vertices here. In essence, if I have a face and I want to poke this face to make a vertex at the center of these four vertices, this face has vertices here, here, here on the four corners. You make a vertex at the center and put that up. All right, in essence, it's more like poking it from below. So if I go down to edit mesh and hit poke, you have a new vertex at the center for us. You can move that up or down any way you want to move that. Okay, so that's the function of poke. We could find use for some of these tools when we start modeling objects. Let's look for another one. Let's click a vertex and hold on Control Delete to delete that vertex. Control Delete on your keyboard to delete that vertex off. I want to look at a different object called Wedge. Right, Wedge works by having two selections, a face and a vertex. Okay, to use the face to extrude the face, but it will wedge it based on the vertex. In essence, it will anchor it on the vertex that is also selected, or rather, it will anchor it to an edge. Sorry, an edge that is selected. So what we can do to see how that works is we can go to multi-component mode. From this mode, we can pick vertices. At the same time, In the same mode, we can pick edges. In the same mode, we can pick faces. Multi-component mode. So I want to pick a face and hold down the shift button and pick an edge. All right. So I have a face selected and an edge selected from that selection here. So I'll go down to edit mesh and hit wedge. All right. So it basically extrudes that face, but to anchor it on the edge that I selected initially. I could turn the wedge angle down or up. All right. And I could add some divisions across this side that like basically adding more edges along the extrusion that way too. All right. So we could have use for this and could make use of this tool in modeling stuff quickly. Okay. So that's it for this lesson. In other lessons, we'll see more of these tools. Let's say we'll see some other tools we have in the mesh menu and the mesh tools menu. So thanks for watching. See you in another class.